Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. You're watching another edition of The Small Business Show, exclusively right here at ASBN.com and now streaming on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Artificial intelligence is more relevant than ever, shaping both our personal and professional lives. Joining us now is author and sales consultant and motivational speaker at the Salinger Group, Mr. Victor Antonio. You've seen him before on our network. He is an incredible individual that does a phenomenal job in all of those areas of speaking and writing and coaching companies. So Victor's book, Sales Ex Machina, How Artificial Intelligence is Changing the World of Selling, informs readers of the impact that AI has in the world of sales. Welcome back to the show, Victor. So glad you can make it.
Always good to be here, Jim. Thank you for having me back. That means I must be doing something right if you keep inviting me back.
No, you are, and you are a very popular individual on our network. People love to hear what you have to say, and you're always spot on. In fact, the book that I just mentioned, you released that 5 years ago when it wasn't as cool to talk about AI as it is now, right?
That is correct. People were just wondering what AI was. And I remember I launched the book and people were like, what is this? And so now everybody's like, oh, AI is the word now.
That's right. That's exactly right. So how have your perspectives on AI and sales transformed since the release of your book? Has that happened?
It's fast. It's a great question, Jim, because we published, and by the way, my co-author is Dr. James Anderson, and there's a longer story how I got involved with him. But I was basically an understudy to him on AI on a torpedo system for Honeywell. Long story. This time I wrote a book and I said, hey, and invited him to jump on the book with me. And it was interesting. Around the time we released the book, 2017, we finished it. We published it in 2018. That was the time where the Google geniuses figured out this new attention network that gave birth to this generative AI, which is now ChatGPT. Mm-hmm. So as we were finishing the book, actually, the next wave of AI was coming. And I got to be honest, I didn't think it would be this quick, this fast, and this powerful.
Yeah. Wow. That's fantastic. So how is artificial intelligence changing the world of selling?
It's going to change it from every aspect. So let me give the folks something tangible, because I think we can talk about it 30,000 feet. Everybody thinks it's just ChatGPT and all these other variants like Perplexity and Llama. There's a bunch of AI stuff out there, a lot of ChatGPTs. But let's bring it out to something we could use. And one of the examples I like to use is Andrew Ng. He's the guy that founded Coursera, has a website called Landing Lens. And it actually lets you take a picture of, let's say you're a window company, okay? Window company. You do windows. In other words, you sell windows and install them, right?
Sure.
When somebody has a seal that's broken in the window, let's walk through that process. Okay, the customer has to call up, has to call the manufacturer or the installer, go through that whole process of scheduling something, getting the window, so forth and so on. So you can almost imagine the process that requires, right?
Sure.
In today's market, with this landing lens that Andrew Ng created, and by the way, anybody can try it. If you go to landinglens.ai, you'll find it. Jim, what I can do is I can take pictures of every type of window seal, broken window that I have for my company. I am the window company, Victor's Windows, right? And then I can just simply upload all these pictures, hit a couple of buttons, literally, and train the AI on how to detect images that have broken seals, right? Windows with broken seals. Now, once you do that, it takes about 15 minutes to do this. So here's what now happens. You call up, right? Or you go online and say, I have a window with a broken seal. The website's going to say, upload the picture. You will upload literally the picture or just point your webcam at it. The AI can look at it now because it has a database that you trained it on with all these different pictures.
Sure.
And it'll say, yep, your window's broken. It will then schedule everything from there on getting that window repled. No human intervention necessary.
Right, right. And there's no holding on phones. It's no getting disconnected. It's not, going back and forth. Let me see when I have a repairman. I'll call you back. You call me back. They never call you back. Just AI just handles it all, right?
It does it all. I mean, even schedules your calendar.
Wow.
In other words, if you say, give me your email, it'll suggest some times that, it'll look at whatever the available. It'll reach into the database of the actual technicians who install the windows, look at their calendars, and actually suggest some dates for your client. All this is being done automatically. Only when the confirmation from the customer comes in and says, hey, yeah, let's do it on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, that automatically puts it into the technician's calendar. That's all. It's scheduled.
Wow.
Yeah, it's powerful. Imagine so one of the predictions I make in my presentations that I'm doing next week is one of the things I talk about is the number of people that you'll be able to work without. In other words, the reduction in headcount. And we're going to see a dramatic change. Goldman Sachs, I think you saw the number. They predicted 18% of the global workforce will basically go away. Not, by the way, not displaced, eliminated because of AI.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So switching gears a little bit, because that scenario was talking more about from the service standpoint of the broken window. But how can businesses integrate AI technologies into their sales processes?
So there's a company there's two companies. There's one called Air.ai and Primal.ai, and those can actually make cold calls for you. Here's how it works. And by the way, this thing is available today. So this is not like some Terminator stuff 20 years from now.
Yeah.
It is today. What will happen is, again, let's say you go to the website and you download you're looking at a specific car, right? And you want more information on a car, right? Pre-owned, new, whatever it may be.
Sure.
You can download that. You'll download the brochure. It'll ask you for your email. That's all the AI needs. If it has your phone numbers, especially, it'll need that also. Then the AI will automatically call you, like a cold call. But here's what's powerful, Jim. It's not just this. By the way, you can kind of detect that it's a little AI if you really listen carefully.
Sure.
But here's the amazing thing about this AI that's out there today, especially with Primal or Air. It asks you these open-ended questions and actually controls the flow of the conversation. It's an amazing piece of technology. So think about it. It will qualify the buyer, maybe even schedule them to come in to the lot, in this case, the dealer lot, or maybe just schedule a demo virtually for you.
Right.
And then once it does all that, it contacts the next available salesperson to handle it. All done. They're qualified for you. Key questions could be asked, and all you got to do is, be there when they show up, so to speak.
That's right. And that, by the way, that's without any attitude at all. That's like, it's a pure sales call without any of that human interruption there, right? Maybe it's somebody that has got a heavy accent one way or the other, and the consumer can't understand them. That's gone. We're talking about professional, truly professional presentation and conversation.
What's fascinating about this, think about this. If you're a company, and let's say you have, 500 SKUs, right? Stock keeping units, 500 different product lines.
Sure.
When you add a new product, right? And let's say it's something that requires a little training, a full day of training. Well, now all you have to do is upload that information into the AI, and the AI is now trained on that.
That's right.
Now, also think about the fact that this AI can handle questions. Like Wayfair is a large company, right? We're all familiar with the company. They use AI to handle all these questions now. Because again, the training is a matter of uploading the specifications or the requirements into the AI, training the machine, which could take a few days. That bot is now an expert on that product.
Yeah.
So in other words, the customer is going to have more confidence because the AI is answering the questions.
That's right.
And again, Jim, as I mentioned, you can still detect that it's maybe AI, but that's just because we're in the nascent stages of it.
I was going to say, that's today, but think about just 5 years from now.
Yeah. Think about how it'll be able to detect, for example, there's something called, and I read about this in the book, called sentiment analysis. In other words, it can listen to the tone of your voice and determine, are you a dominant personality? Are you more social personality? And the AI can actually adjust to your profile or personality type.
Unbelievable. Or in the event that you've got an irate customer on the phone, then they raise their level, to your point, and then that AI knows that they're going to take a different route, or maybe get them over to a human supervisor or something, right?
Absolutely. And what's even, by the way, that's a great point. And also, by the way, it can do follow-up emails. Let's not forget about those little things, or texting. In other words, you call up, you're irate, I handle the call as an AI. But then I'll follow up automatically with, a text message or an email based on whatever information I promised to give you. All this is automated. So human error is pushed out even more.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. I'm going to tell my daughter, who's just graduating college, to take a few more courses and get into AI. If you for jobs that are in AI, they're pretty secure for the next 25 years, aren't they? and
They
beyond.
are.
Yeah.
By the way, I think the best analogy to understand AI, because we're moving towards something called no code or low code AI, which means anybody can do it.
Okay.
By the way, the fascinating thing about ChatGPT or conversational AI, generative AI,
Yeah.
is that it's now like direct to consumer. Anybody can use it, right?
Yeah.
Future AI will be like that. Anybody can use it. And I think his name is something Kelly from Wired Magazine had the best word, Jim. He says everything will be cognified.
Yeah.
Cognified, which means he says AI should be viewed as a utility. Just like electricity runs through things to power things,
Sure.
everything will be powered through AI. So it's a matter of just asking, today you have Alexa, right? In the future, that will be your search agent. It will be Jim.ai.
Yep.
And you'll say, hey, Jim AI, I need to book this reservation. I need to fly here. I need to make sure Chris finishes editing this. Can you send him a reminder, so forth and so on? All that's going to be done automatically.
That's right. Well, if we can get Chris to edit this, then it's worth its weight in gold, without a doubt.
Love it.
So
Love
let me
it.
ask you, what advice do you have for businesses aiming to integrate AI into their sales processes? I know that you just mentioned a few great platforms for them to look into, right?
Yeah, that is probably the number one question I'm going to say. Okay, Victor, and now I'm going to talk about large corporations, enterprises. Let's just talk about small, medium-sized businesses for a second, because they're limited with resources and they're overwhelmed. Like, where do I begin? And I would use, for example, and I'll just use again the window manufacturer as an example. I would look at my process from inbound call or inbound leads from my website, right, or call, and then map out the whole process all the way from order completion, order support, and follow-up, right? Just map that whole thing out, the whole frame out. And then ask myself, where do I need to improve this process, and where can I apply some AI apps in that process?
Yeah.
In other words, don't eat the elephant whole. You got to eat it one bite at a time and figure out where you want to place your AI.
Sure. That's great advice, for sure. Victor Antonio, author, sales consultant, and motivational speaker at Sellinger Group. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a show in and of itself, so I'd love for you to come back in and talk to us more about this, because it's a very hot topic among small to medium-sized business owners and large business owners for that matter. It's all about AI and how to get our hands around it and how to use it as a real tool for us to take our companies to the next level. So thank you so much. This has been really great.
Jim, thank you for having me. Let's do it again.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.